Am I the a-hole for telling my wife that we can't afford for her to be a stay-at-home mom? So my wife and I have been together for 8 years, married for 3. Both are in their mid-30s and now have a toddler. She works in the tech world, I'm in real estate. As a couple, we do well financially and contribute roughly 50-50ths depending on how I do from year to year, sometimes maybe more like 60-40ths in her favor, other times 60-40ths in mine. We don't have any major issues, though we still deal with little annoying arguments about dumb shit like most married couples with a new child. My wife has always been a little jealous of my work-life balance as my boss, and I understand why. Real estate can be a cushy gig when you're not greedy and decent at the job. The downside is that every day I wake up not knowing when my next paycheck is coming, which is stressful at times. My wife, let's call her Elle, has a well-paid salary position with good benefits, namely free health insurance for her entire family. About a year ago she finished a 6-figure master's degree to help push her further in her career and create more professional opportunities for herself. Unfortunately, she's miserable with her job. I get it, her boss sucks, and the why is kind of irrelevant. For almost 2 months now she's emotionally drained every day and on the verge of tears almost every night. I'd want to leave too. So we came up with a plan. While I've been in my industry for a while, I just branched off and started my own business within it about a year ago. It's gone well so far and should have a bright future, but it's still very early and likely going to experience its fair share of bumps in the road along the way. Also, I'm not super entrepreneurial and I only work as hard as I need to enjoy the life we've created for ourselves. Think 30 to 40 hours per week versus 50-60 plus like the grind and hustle mindset brothers on Insta. A healthy work-life balance is more important to me than retiring at 50 but being exhausted and missing my kids' childhood. Elle's master's degree is in business development and marketing. What a coincidence, I have a company that needs to be developed and marketed. Elle wants to market the company and be in charge of its growth/development. So I suggest, why don't you come to grow my company and help me expand it? Not only will it help provide for us financially in the long run, but you will have that freedom that you've been yearning for forever. She agrees it's a perfect fit. Likely 2 steps back to take 3 steps forward over the next couple of years, but worth the early sacrifices. So the next step is leaving her job. But that takes a bit of planning for a few reasons. 1. Health insurance/salary/bonus timing. We need to be smart about this so we don't end up taking the L for no reason if it's avoidable without much sacrifice. 2. Alignment of some of my transactions closing and paydays associated. 3. We have a contract with a nanny until the end of July for our toddler that runs us roughly $3,000 per MO. The plan we ultimately decided on was to have her give a 4-week notice at the end of June/early July. If they boot her that day, whatever, we can handle it. But losing her will be a big hit for them in her role, so they'll likely have her help to find/train a replacement at the very least before leaving. Once leaving entirely by early August, she wants to be a stay-at-home mom with our child for 6 to 8 weeks until they hit 1 year old and can go to daycare. It's a pivotal time in our child's development, and being able to be a significant part of it will be wonderful for them both, and I desperately want it for them. But the idea has always been to come to work with me full-time after that and send our child to daycare during the workday. Our expenses are built on a dual-income household, and we now also have 6-figure student loan debt from Elle's grad degree and a new, to us, expense in health insurance for the family. If the work with me isn't a fit for her, or we just can't seem to make the numbers work out after our runway has been used up, she would go back to corporate America and find a new job. We even took out a HELOC on our home just as a failsafe for liquidity if necessary, so we wouldn't have to pull from any penalized/taxed retirement accounts. Well, we found out this weekend that 3 sets of couples we are mutual friends with locally are transitioning to a single-income home with Ensom for their new children. She told me tonight after chatting with them that she wants to take an extended leave from working full-time so she can spend important time with our child instead of sending them to daycare. When I asked Elle what that meant and how long she was planning, she said indefinitely. Which to her just basically means until I'm ready to go back. We got into a big fight because I explained to her that we are not in a financial position to support ourselves off my commission-only income, which can be highly variable with no benefits. Sure, we could manage for a handful of months, but not indefinitely. Our mutual friends choosing to do it have different circumstances, namely husbands in very safe and financially secure salary-based roles with benefits, and additionally wives with only moderate income jobs that won't be dramatically missed when accounting for the savings of childcare expenses. Elle feels like I'm not supporting her and said she feels very pressured to continue working and provide with a stable salary and health care. She doesn't want to miss important moments with our child and feels like the only way to ensure that happens is if she stops working full-time and instead does little side hustle type work in the evenings after the baby is put to sleep. As a reference, the side hustles are learning affiliate marketing, blogging, paid reviewing, selling old stuff on the FB marketplace, etc. It's not like she wants to start her own company on the side instead of working for mine. She also keeps bringing up how she supported me in my professional transition into real estate many years ago and carried the brunt of the financial obligations, but I won't do the same for her. Which I feel like is an unfair comparison. I was transitioning from one career to another and working part-time jobs during the 6 to 8 months it took me to get ramped up into my very real full-time position in real estate. She wants to transition from work to no work and have me agree to support that. I can't seem to help her see that logically it's not about a lack of support. I showed my support for her transition into a career with more personal freedom when I told her she could quit her job tomorrow as long as she had a plan for when the baby went to daycare in a few months. Whether that's a new job in the corporate world working with me to grow the family business or any other income-replacing endeavor. I don't care what it is as long as it's bringing in legitimate income or working towards that with a light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like that is supporting her choice to leave her toxic circumstances. But what I don't support is committing to a single income when we are just not stable enough to handle it. And when she said she felt pressured, I explained that her statement seemed selfish because she's asking me to take on all of our financial responsibility with a young child so that she can stay at home and not work while I also pay for our new healthcare obligations and pay off her student loan debt that she just got. It makes zero sense to me why she can't see that this is our reality, and I would also choose to not work if it was an option, but unfortunately, it puts far too much burden on the now sole-earning spouse to handle it all. I know a lot of people do it, but it's not as impactful if a spouse goes from being a teacher at $40,000 per year to a SOM that saves the family $20,000 per year in childcare. It's only a $20,000 net loss. Elle is a comfortable 6-figure employee, so I just don't think it's fair to ask or even realistic to expect me to agree to. Sure, I could work 80 hours a week and make more money by investing more time, but why should I have to? She's always been very professionally driven, hence the recent master's degree, and it seems unfair to build a life on the expectation of 2 incomes just to bail as soon as our obligations get more complicated and then expect me to pick up the slack by myself. I would not expect Elle to do it for me, so I'm frustrated that she thinks it's okay. Anyways, am I being the a-hole here by telling her that she's being selfish and that we can't afford to drop down to a single-income household?